Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 2 of the Skeleseller vlog. In the first episode, I covered what the game was all about, so I'm going to skip over the intro for now, and we're just going to cover what are the big changes in the last 2 months. And you're looking at the first one. We now have a title screen. We used to just launch you directly into gameplay, and this does what you would expect, so let's start a new game. I'm going to put the new version of the game on the right side of the screen and the old version on the left so we can compare side by side. And the first thing I want to highlight is some of the user interface changes. It's very obvious looking at these that the right one looks a lot nicer. We have a papery background and some wooden looking buttons, but we applied this pretty much everywhere in the game. So even our in-game menu, this is just a smattering of buttons here. We have better spacing over here. They just look nicer. And the place this is exemplified the most is in the skill tree. You can see the obvious aesthetic changes, but we've also overhauled some of the functionality of this. We got feedback in the old version that all of your choices were there at first, which could be a little overwhelming when you've just started out the game, having to choose between 4 things instead of just 2, let's say. But also these choices never changed over the course of the game. So you had 4 choices at the beginning and you had 4 choices at the end. The other thing is that the max level of all of these skills was 5. So the increments here, like crit, it adds 5% per level, is not felt as much as what we changed it to. So here's the overhauled version. I'm going to cheat and just grant myself some skill points. We can only access 2 choices at the very beginning. And we can see that their max level is 2. So if I were to hover over the equivalent crit ability over here, we can see it's actually 12.5% per level instead of 5%. So you'll feel that much more. And as I unlock skills over here, you can see that I'm unlocking other parts of this tree. So there aren't direct dependencies like there are in some games. It's just unlock enough of the first tier to get the second tier, unlock enough of any of these tiers to get the third tier. And that way you feel that sense of progression as your character is going through the world. You might have also heard that there are sound effects as I was clicking some of these buttons. Those exist in a lot of different parts of the game. I'm not going to show all of them off, but if I click the portal, for example, if I start a battle, there are sound effects for a lot of that. Again, just helps bring the game to life. One of the other big changes I want to show here is we now have boss battles. I'm going to thoroughly cheat and we're going to grant most things and we're going to go into one of the boss locations. So I'll send in a couple of adventurers here. Bosses are bigger and they're generally intended to be the difficult battles in the game. I don't want the regular battles to be all that challenging for you. They all contain pretty basic enemies. They don't have special abilities. There are no resistances. But the bosses are a place where you should start to think about what are your skill loadouts, which adventurers are you sending into battle. And the first one, as the first boss, and you're only level 2 for that, so you only have 1 skill point, you're pretty much intended to win. I lost here because I haven't put any skill points in and because I'm using some unbalanced adventures. But the second one, if I were to send some adventurers into this and show this off, this one has a fireball ability that targets everyone in your party. And that's supposed to be counter to this witch doctor character that summons zombies. So that no matter how many zombies you have, when it does use its fireball ability, which should be soon, it'll just burn them to a crisp. So it's starting to steer you toward different strategies. And it gives you a more challenging fight than the regular ones that we have. I'll flee this battle so it's not making sound effects. One of the other big changes we did is we added the town hall. You used to have a way of affecting your, what we call player skills. This is going to be going away pretty soon, and we're going to lump it all into the town hall. The town hall is a way of just buying these perks outright, and then you just keep them forever. There is no re-specializing these because they're all just straight up benefits. So here I've just upgraded the number of customers in the town. And if I scroll over to the side here, we see they all just entered town. And you're starting to see some of the different customer behavior. In the old version, customers would just walk all over the place all the time, never leave your town, buy anything they possibly could. Now they walk a little bit slower, they idle every once in a while, and here we go. This one wants a blue potion specifically. And if I were to, let's just kind of cheat in some blue potions here. So I'm going to force ourselves to win this battle and set it to auto battle. And win those battles too. So I'm going to get a few different blue potions here. They still need to get stocked into the shops. So you'll see them go over to here. And customers can buy them whether or not they want that specific item. But you can see the ones who want this potion are going over there. And then when they buy it, they will tip you for it. And that tip is based on the most valuable item you've found so far. So it's always worthwhile to go and get some of these items. The last thing I wanted to highlight here is a system that didn't exist in the first one at all, which is the Enchanter. If I make this Enchanter and we build out this building completely, this was a way of sort of having a middle ground for equipment With how many adventurers you have in the game, I didn't want you having to equip each one individually. So instead, what you could do is you could take your items and disenchant them using these pots and crystals here. So if I put this into this pot, it disappears and the crystal fills up completely. And I'll put another couple in before I explain this. Okay, so now let's look at this. You can see that there are timers counting down and that they're giving me minor buffs for all of these that will impact my battles. And you can see the crystals are depleting here. So this would mean if you started a battle, you get a little bit more power and your adventurers would get some haste in that battle. We already got some feedback on this system and I think it's going to change for the next release. But still, I think it's nice to launch something like this, add this feature into the game, see how people interact with it, and then see how we can improve it based on that. So that mostly sums up all the changes, at least the biggest ones for episode number 2 of this vlog. The last thing I wanted to report on is that we are up to 299 wish lists. So you could be the 300th person if you go and wishlist the game on Steam. And that's it for today. So thanks for watching. Hope you'll wishlist the game and see you next time.